All right. Good morning to each and every one, and at this time, we'll turn it over to our very capable city clerk.
This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, June 29th. We have approval of minutes from June 22nd.
Looks good.
No problem.
Appeals, we have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on July 22nd, Medal of Honor Park from 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. July 18th in Langen Park from 1 p.m. until 7 p.m. July 9th through the 11th, Cathedral Square from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. July 23rd from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. in Cooper Riverside Park. July 3rd from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. on Roosevelt Avenue. Mr. Manager, are you okay with the Cathedral Square from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m.? Oh, that's the festival? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This is, how many years has he been spearheading this festival now? I know it's at least 3 or 4 at this point, so, based off, I've not had any past complaints, and he's been responsible as far as I know. I hadn't heard anything this week, so I don't have an issue.
Okay. Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to declare the structure at 102 North Pine Street, 1854 Calms Street, 5671 Bob Street, 5314 Noble Street, 5324 Noble Street South, 2715 Betby Street, 2353 Hart Avenue, and 313 Lincoln Boulevard, public nuisances, and ordering them demolished and fixing the cost for demolition of said structures.
Ms. Gregory?
Yeah, Mr. President, on, is David, yes, there you are. On the Lincoln Boulevard, David, it's 5700. Can you just provide some more information on exactly how big that structure is and what all is involved with fixing the cost? I know we've already done it, but, and what the property looks like now.
Yes, and you probably recall this is in your district, and it's been there for many years.
Yes.
In a vacant, burned condition.
Yes.
Which was open to the public, and it did have an accessory structure. Now, its average size around 1,800 to 2,000 square feet, but it was burned. And that's usually when we see a little bit higher cost because it's more labor intensive to clean up a burned structure versus just have mechanical equipment collapse and take the debris away.
When structures like this are burned and then we demolish them, how do crews then leave the lot? Do we come back and put any sod or grass seed or anything like that to?
The contract that we have with the demolition contractors is they're supposed to clear the lot level. If there's a foundation, they're supposed to backfill any voids, cap the sewer lines, but also have grass and grass seed grow back. That's in the contract.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Reggie Hill regarding Parks and Recreation Commissions and Boards. Levy King regarding the American Rescue Plan Act proposed budget. Timothy Hollis regarding status of football organizations using the community centers and improperly placed campaign yard signs. Darlene Martin regarding the American Rescue Plan budget funding award. She has ideas for projects and some shelf-ready plans. Olenifer Burrell wants to respond to the complaint discussed at the council meeting held on June the 8th. This is the South Bay Apartments. Teresa Bettis regarding the American Rescue Plan funding and wants to know the budget established and the plans for the funds.
Joe?
CIP resolutions held over. 01473, authorize a cooperative agreement with ALDOT for a traffic signal maintenance and operation program. 01474, authorized purchase and sale agreement and accept deed for approximately 31 acres along Dolphin Island Parkway in Mobile Bay. Resolutions held over, 31480, authorized grant application to the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 21 Bulletproof Vest Partnership. Consent resolutions being introduced, 37481 and 482 and 483 recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a retail beer, table wine, off-premises only license for Griffith Service Station on Government Street, for issuance of a special events retail license for Lit Cigar Lounge for the July 4th celebration in Cooper Riverside Park, and for issuance of a special events retail license for Lit Cigar Lounge for Saturdays at the Coop on July 3rd. 40, 484, 85, 86, 87, 88 are declaring the structures public nuisances and ordering them demolished. 40, 489, 490, 491 are fixing the cost for demolition of structures. 58, 492 declare weeds noxious, group 1655. 60, 493, 494 are determining appropriations to the Africatown Community Development Corporation serves a public purpose and approved payment, and to Detente Square Neighborhood Association serves a public purpose and approved payment. 21502, authorized contract, and 503 are authorizing contract with Dennis McGrew and Caleb Moran for services as election specialists for the municipal election. Those two are being added. Resolutions being introduced for the first time, 08495, approved purchase order to Donahue Chevrolet for 62 Chevrolet Tahoe police package SUVs for the motor pool, $2,214,966.12. 0849.
Hold it. We haven't seen anything of this magnitude in years. Where at one time the city is purchasing about 65 vehicles. I want to know what's going on. Can somebody give us some?
So, Councilman, we order typically this number of vehicles annually as part of the PD fleet replacement. Historically, we kind of get to trickle these in, but as part of the budgeting process about a year ago, they were starting to making sure that the vehicle budget rate was, the money had already come in before we would actually purchase the vehicles. So we're purchasing them on the back end, and so we're getting them all in at the same time as opposed to trickling them in throughout the budget year. But we typically replace about 60 to 70 PD vehicles annually to try to make sure we maintain the efficiency of the police fleet.
Well, I'm not opposed to that. What I am opposed to is we don't have enough equipment to pick up our trash. And we are down almost at every council meeting we are ordering a Tahoe, we are ordering some sort of vehicle, and all of a sudden I put in, let me say when you go down Moffett Road to I-65, on the east side, East Service Road, you make a right at the interstate and you go down to get on the interstate to go north on 65. They have two clusters of lights up there so people can see how to get on to the interstate. Cluster lights been out for 4 years. And the answer that I received is that the city does not have a bucket truck. And we ordered 62 cars, and we don't have a bucket truck to fix the lights. All lights in the city on metal poles is our responsibility. We have to keep those lights going. So we don't even have a bucket truck. I'm saying that it seems to me that money ought to be put where money is needed. We certainly need a bucket truck to put the lights up. If you get to Mobile Infirmary Boulevard and Spring Hill Avenue, I reported lights several years. It's on metal poles, no lights fixed. If you go to Mobile Street and Spring Hill Avenue, I have reported lights out for years. We don't have no bucket truck to fix the light, and all of a sudden we're gonna order 62. Because I'm not opposed to that, but I'm opposed to purchasing what we need. We need a bucket truck. We need equipment for public service workers. We are contracting out those jobs. I just wanted to make a statement about this. It seems to me we put the money where our emphasis are, and if we don't have much emphasis on lights burning, trash being picked up, we don't order the equipment for that. It seems to be what's going on, and I just wanted to make note of that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir, Mr. Richardson.
08496, approved purchase order to Joe Bullard Chevrolet for Silverado pickup truck for the Police Cyber Division, $48,196. 08497, approved purchase order to Donahue Chevrolet for 3 Chevrolet Tahoe police package SUVs for the motor pool, $107,175.78.
Mr. President.
Mr. Richardson.
Why was these 3 not in the pool of the 62? It's the same. It's the Tahoe. We're back with the Tahoe. So down here we got a whole different company. We got one company up here that's going to provide 72 Tahoes. Then we move down and we're going to get 3 more Tahoes from somebody else. So is the price the same? Is anybody got a better price?
Councilman Richard, that is also, those vehicles are for the police fleet, in particular our K-9 personnel. As you know, as the city continues to grow and expand, we serve a lot of dual purposes with our K-9 unit, and particularly in bomb sweeps and things of that nature there, so we have to outfit those vehicles just a little bit differently.
Okay, so these 3, that would be the K-9 vehicle.
Yes, sir.
All right.
If I could, let me ask this question of Mr. Arledge. I see several vehicle purchases on this particular agenda, as we've seen over the course of several weeks, and my concern is not necessarily the need for the vehicles, because I believe that's clear. My concern is that many of these vehicles are being purchased out of the city. Is there something we can do by way of ordinance to give some semblance of local preference to our local auto dealers so that we aren't buying 60 Tahoes from Donahoe, or however it's pronounced, Chevrolet, as opposed to a local Chevrolet dealership that's here in our own community?
Well, there's I don't know about by ordinance. There is a state law. In the bid law, you can give a local preference if it's bid out, and but it's got to be the next lowest bid from the local guy has to be within a certain percentage of the high of the lowest bid before you can go with that guy. And off the top of my head, I can't remember it's either 5 or 10% difference. Now, I don't know the finances of this particular transaction. The large purchase of the $2 million was off the Alabama state contract, which is a different option you can go under. And you'd have to ask them. I just don't know what the finances are, if it would have been more economical to do a bid as opposed to just going through the state contract.
Councilman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
When we went to the table for this particular set, and in fact, the last 2 purchases for police vehicles, because of the Chevrolet cutting off its deadline for promotions, for being able to purchase these vehicles, the local vendors did not want to submit a bid for those, for the local vehicles at the time. They just, because the deadline cut off too early. So that's how we ended up really going to Donahue and being able to get vehicles. So many people were trying to get Tahoes. They were the only one that had vehicles off state bid at the time, and they were graciously enough to hold those vehicles for MPD, set aside for MPD to be able to purchase at the time. So we did look out to try to. We have always tried to utilize local vendors here when we could. But when the pandemic hit, there were some issues that popped up with availability and the deadline in which Chevrolet cut off production.
Is Chevrolet the only one that makes police?
This
vehicle?
particular, yes.
Yeah,
So
what you
there's
want.
a different, you could go with a Durango or something like that, but we believe that the Tahoe serves the purposes for what we do with MPD better, in particular with, sometime the amount of rain we get and things, they sit higher up off the ground, availability, access certain areas.
Well, my question certainly isn't, nitpicking as to what model of vehicle you purchased. I'm just concerned increasingly about these large level of purchases and whether or not there was, your explanation is pretty crystal clear, but I'm hopeful in future. What would be the remedy to that? Is it contacting the local dealerships prior to, or is this simply because of the pandemic, it kind of caused this issue?
I don't know the remedy to it. Maybe it was just because of the pandemic. Hopefully we'll see how things shake out after this year, but clearly last year that was the reason for us having to go and not be able to use local vendor.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. President,
Mr. Richardson?
according to the Zogby Act, 1144, C-72, that when this comes on our agenda, it says all purchases made and contracts executed by the purchasing agent shall be pursuant to a written requisition from the head of the office, department, or agency whose appropriation will be charged. So this one say it was sponsored by the mayor or submitted by John Payne. And I don't believe the mayor sent no requisition over there to buy those 62 vehicles. It says when it comes to us, whoever is ordering these vehicles, that's name ought to appear on this agenda. But still, it's nothing against Mayor Stimson sponsoring it. But it doesn't tell us where these vehicles going, who ordered them, what department's going to be charged with it. I'm saying this agenda ought to tell us who's going to get these vehicles, according to the document.
So, Mr. President,
Mr. Woods?
just giving a further explanation of Zogby, that 72 references the purchasing agent, which is actually John Payne. That's why his name is there. So if you look at your packet, you'll probably find that most of the information, the reason that the public safety director is answering the questions is because they were going to public safety. If you read 72 in concurrence with the packet, I think you probably have the information you need. I know there's a lot of information in the packet, but you'll find that according to the ordinance, the mayor and the council can sponsor, are the only ones that can sponsor, and then it has to be submitted by somebody from the department. And the reason that we buy off the state bid list is just what Director Batiste said. It's because of better pricing, and our locals didn't necessarily want to participate. Can't be done by ordinance, has to follow state law, and we have to follow the bid law. So we too wish there was a better way to be more inclusive. That's something that we try to do on the front end, but you can't step out of the bid law. You do have to follow state bid law. We do have to follow Zogby. And that's why Mr. Payne is making the submission, because he is the purchasing agent. And I think everybody probably knows that now.
Mr. President,
Mr. Richardson?
none of what he said is germane to what I'm concerned about. I didn't say nothing about the mayor didn't have no right, Mr. Payne didn't have no right. I said the law says whoever is ordering these vehicles, whatever department is ordering these vehicles, name ought to be up here. I'm not questioning Mayor Sniff's sponsoring this. He's been doing it ever since he's been here, and the mayor before him did it. I'm not challenging that. This could have been, these vehicles could have been going to the recreation department, Parks and Rec. It doesn't tell us where these vehicles are going. The Zogby Act says whatever department that's ordering these vehicles, name ought to be up here. I ain't challenging nothing else. Where the vehicles coming from, what's the name of the company, who made them. I'm not concerned about that. Mr. President, this ain't gonna happen today. We need to move on. But the Zogby Act says if you're gonna spend some money, we need to know what department this money is coming from. What department requested that? That's all I'm saying. It's in the law.
Madam City Clerk?
08498, approved purchase order to Encore Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for Dodge Ram Crew Cab pickup truck for police administration services, $42,902. 08499, approved purchase order to Petroleum Traders Corporation for fuel for the Wave Transit System. 6500, approved settlement agreement with CSX for refund of sales and use taxes paid on purchases of diesel fuel for tax years 2004 through 2011. Call for public hearings, 41501, call for public hearing to consider adding a playground in Walsh Park, scheduled July 20th. Announcements.
Any announcements from members of the council? Mr. Mayor or members of your administration? Hearing none, we will see each other at 10:30.